All right, so we are back, and today is my prediction video for UFC 299, and we are doing so thanks to the sponsor of this video, EA Sports UFC 5, for helping me get interactive with you guys with the main event, Sugar Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera. As you know, UFC 5 is the only way to play with your favorite MMA fighters in the most interactive and high-quality game ever produced by EA Sports. Once again, thank you to them for sponsoring this video and our live stream Saturday, which we will be watching this entire card. And not only is it high-level gameplay, but accurate description, as UFC 5 has even added the pink trunks for Sean O'Malley this weekend in Miami. And you can catch all that playing UFC 5 right now by clicking that link in the description. Not to mention all the pick'ems, challenges, and alter ego fighters you can download right now when you click the link in the description. But let's go ahead and take a look at this main event. Sugar Sean O'Malley, Chito Vera, what happens? Brought to you by UFC 5. The breakdown. Let's go. All right, so main event, UFC 299, the rematch between Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera. This fight is maybe not the fight everyone wants to see at 135. You could argue that Chito doesn't necessarily deserve to be in this fight at 135, but there's some history here, and this is Sean O'Malley's first title defense to start to solidify what he's going to be as a champion at 35. Let's not forget, he just won the belt, spectacular fashion, over Aljamain Sterling, but this is where champions are actually made. Do you defend your belt against all comers, or do you fall off the top of the mountain? And let's also not forget, this is a rematch where Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera fought before, and shockingly, people still don't remember this, Chito Vera handed Sean O'Malley his only loss. And there's been a lot of rumors since then about the fluky nature of it, right? The perennial calf kick that sent Sean O'Malley tumbling to the canvas, but then the nasty elbow between the guard that put Sean O'Malley out for a second and eventually stopped the fight. Sean calls that a fluke. A lot of people do, but listen, it's a legitimate technique and a legitimate victory for Chito Vera, so you have to wonder if that's playing in the mind of Sean O'Malley at all. But as far as this fight goes, it's going to be a little different in my opinion. Sean O'Malley has grown from that fight to become one of the deadliest strikers in MMA. With his hands, with his feet, he just has this understanding of distance, timing, and deliverability that most people don't. It's Conor McGregor-esque in the way that he fights, in the way that he sets up and lands punches. It is art. It's beautiful. Like, honestly, it's great to watch. So how does the champion get this done? Well, for one, standing across from him is Chito Vera, who is a slow starter, a guy that doesn't necessarily get into his rhythm until those later 3, 4, and 5 rounds. So I think for Sean, again, is going to be a little bit more switched on to start this fight. And maybe you've seen him for a bit. Like, I think he's going to be a little bit more aggressive in this first round, because knowing Chito likes to take a while to get going, and also that Sean O'Malley, in my opinion, is at his best when he is being an aggressive counter fighter, meaning he is trying to initiate action to bait shots out of you and then counter over the top. That's one of his biggest skills as a martial artist, his ability to use his legs, hands, elbows, whatever, to find range, gauge that range, and then throw his jab right hand or his spinning back kick to get you to react, to then throw something over the top. His feints are some of the best in MMA. He has a great ability to cause a reaction and then play off of that. Honestly, I think he might give Chito a taste of his own medicine from the first fight. In this fight, I could see Sean going to the low calf kick early, and then the teep kick to the body. He has a great job with that. Utilizing those kicks early, in my opinion, is going to get Sean the result he wants to see later in the fight, which is opening up the rest of the body for those hands to get to work. So an important point for Sean O'Malley in this fight is start fast and kick heavy, in my opinion. Whether it's the low leg kick, you can bank rounds early versus Chito just sheerly off the fact that he's not very active in those rounds. He does take a bit more to get going, and it's hurt him in past fights. Think the Corey Sandhagen fight where Chito didn't get going until the 4th round, and interestingly enough, Corey Sandhagen and Sean O'Malley styles, while not necessarily the same, they have a lot of similarities. And I do anticipate this being a mostly stand-up fight where Chito, I think, wants to stand and figure it out, and Sean the same way. I don't see us doing a lot of scrambling on the ground or any sort of takedown attempts and defenses, things like that. If they did, just have them call me. I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu now. I can teach him a few things. But no, I don't anticipate that happening. What I do think is that this will be a chess match on the feet. And I do see Sean O'Malley as a bit more of a chess player. In this back and forth, he is going to be able to, in my opinion, have more answers in different varieties than Chito Vera will. And ultimately, that's where I could see Sean O'Malley succeeding as the rounds go on. Like I said, off those leg kicks, off of his ability to start faster. Then comes what I call the tidal wave, where Sean O'Malley, much again like Corey Sandhagen did, can start to mount more offense based on the openings he's created with the kicks early, start to go to the hands, the jab right hands, the left hooks. He has a sniper from range. So again, there may be a little bit of desperation from Chito Vera after falling down a couple of rounds, which makes him a little bit more aggressive, but also throwing caution to the wind and putting himself in bad positions, maybe swinging a bit more wild, opening up on offense to a degree. There's a lane that opens up for Sean O'Malley to throw that counter right hand or that left hook right hand, that uppercut behind it, maybe a head kick in there as well. He has a spinning hook kick. It's beautiful. All those things are how I can see Sean O'Malley building momentum to win this fight, whether it's by decision or stoppage. Here's another important point. Chito Vera has never been stopped in any of his losses, so it's going to be a difficult night to get him out of there. But this game plan from Sean O'Malley doesn't just have to rely on a stoppage. It will continue to build and mount offense to potentially dominate his way to a decision, or at least put him on the right end of things. So in my opinion, for Sean O'Malley to win, the blueprint is start early, kick heavy, and then use that tidal wave to flush out all the holes in Chito's game, most likely to a decision win, but potentially Sean O'Malley could be the first man to stop Chito. And on the other side, you have Chito Vera, who surprisingly is younger than you would think. He's only 31. It feels like he's been around forever in the UFC, but a high-level veteran, a guy that's fought everyone, been in some of the greatest fights at that division, beat former champions like Dominic Cruz with a head kick late in that fight. He's always dangerous. So what does Chito Vera have to do? Well, for one, he already has a win over Sean O'Malley. So mentally, going into this fight, he knows he can win. Sean O'Malley is not invincible to him. He doesn't in any way fear Sean O'Malley at all. And if you know anything about Chito Vera, he doesn't fear anyone. That man is Ecuadorian blood running through him and comes from the slums. I don't think he fears a man on this earth. But stylistically, there are things that Chito has to do. I mean, it's almost the opposite of what we talked about with Sean O'Malley. This is a 5-round fight, and Chito just can't afford to give away rounds early. It doomed him in the Corey Sandhagen fight. And quite frankly, he got dominated in that one. It was just one-way traffic. This can't be what Chito offers to this fight. He has to start early. I like Chito going right back to his kicks as well. Again, when you're talking about Sean O'Malley, he's a tall, rangier fighter, so those kicks do have to come into play, and they did in the first fight. Those low calf kicks worked gold for Chito. So yeah, I think they're a big part of his game plan too, implementing the low kicks, reminding Sean O'Malley of that perennial nerve issue, the thing that caused that fight to be stopped or at least put it in jeopardy in the first one. Bring Sean O'Malley's mind back to that horrific moment and try to put him back in that blender. I also think closing distance with Sean is difficult, but once you're there, I would like to see Chito work a little bit in the clinch with Sean and try to eliminate a lot of the things that make Sean as great as he is, his range, his ability to fight in long distance. And I know that Sean has weapons inside too. He's got nasty elbows, but I think Chito fighting in a closer distance, maybe even in a boxing distance where the kicks can be eliminated a bit after he sets his up, could be a little bit more to his advantage. Again, he's the shorter guy. I don't think you're going to play a sniping game with Sean O'Malley and win from the outside. So being inside of that range is going to be, again, another key for me. So that's, yes, implementing kicks early, but also trying to close that range, because standing outside and going back and forth with O'Malley is just, in my opinion, not the greatest idea. And ultimately letting him feel some of that Ecuadorian power. It's got to be a little bit to shake Sean O'Malley. We saw Petr Yan hurt him with the biggest shot he's ever been hit with, but we've also seen Chito Vera snap Sean's neck back with an elbow from the guard. And let's just say that you can put Sean to the floor and put him on his back and maybe work some of that top game and slicing elbows. We've seen Sean struggle in his guard off his back, and we've also seen Sean develop from that. But if you do want to change a bit of the game here, I don't think there's going to be a ton of grappling, but if you want to change a little bit of the trajectory of this fight, let's say he's down in the early rounds and needs to get some stuff back, throw Sean off and try to find a way to change the trajectory of this entire fight. I don't mind him looking to grapple a little bit and change levels and try to get Sean to the ground and utilize not only some of that top game pressure, but again, putting Sean in that blender of what happened in the first fight to remind him how dangerous Chito can be with those elbows. Just a vicious, nasty fighter, and I think he's going to have to make this a vicious, nasty fight. You can't fight Sean O'Malley pretty, at least skill for skill. I don't think Chito has the ability to do that, so I think you do get inside that clinch range and make this a bit of a blood war. And who can survive those five in a back and forth inside trade game? And again, that might be asking a lot, knowing how good Sean O'Malley is forward and backward, and sometimes you can argue he's a better backward fighter. But Chito being up against it, Sean developing as much as he has since their first fight, Chito doing the same but also struggling with long, rangier fighters. I think his best opportunity to win is make this a violent fight Like I said, inside clinch, elbows, sure, implement those leg kicks here and there, but don't stand at range with Sean for a long period. Potentially change levels and put Sean on his back and just make him uncomfortable there. High top pressure, elbows from the top as well. Once they get up, you're right back in the pocket with him. Smothering pressure with a bit of striking skill, which was what Aljamain Sterling lacked completely, could be the factor that puts Chito Vera over the top. So all in all, what do I think? How does this fight go down? I'm taking Sean O'Malley. A decision win here. Again, I do think that a lot of outcomes can happen here. I could see Chito Vera going right back to the well and maybe just having Sean O'Malley's number and snagging that belt. But if I'm betting on this fight, which I will be, I'm saying that Sean O'Malley gets this done by decision in a 5-round escalating volume win where he starts the fight off a little bit more active than he has been and a little bit more switched on than Chito's ready for. Maybe banks the first couple of rounds and it's just Chito fighting that tidal wave to try to stay in the fight based on Sean's ability to kick from range, punch from range, establish range and keep it, snipe from the outside, and use some flashy techniques here and there. I do think that he gets this fight done. I'm going to say a decision. But all in all, like I said, I don't have these answers. You're going to have to tune in this Saturday live in the watch party with me and everybody else here on the channel. And also a big thanks to UFC 5 once again for sponsoring this video. Do not forget to check out all of the fight week additions to the game, the pick'ems, the challenges, the alter egos, Sean O'Malley in the pink shorts. You guys can take advantage by clicking the link in the description. But now it's time for you guys to tell me where I'm wrong. What is going to happen this Saturday at UFC 299? Is it going to be Sean O'Malley, like I said, by decision? Is it going to be Chito Vera doubling down on the first win and beating Sean O'Malley again, upset central? I don't have those answers, but guess we'll find out.